Even though I didn't watch the trailer for this movie, I thought I knew what I was walking into. I thought I knew what I was walking into. I thought I was getting a comedy about an aging kid detective and all the zany adventures he was getting into as an adult. I thought I knew what I was getting. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about a movie that I didn't even know about until a few days ago, but it was coming to our theaters. Today, we're going to be talking about Adam Brody's The Kid Detective. I will warn you, I'm going to be talking some spoilers at the end of this review, but I will avoid them as much as possible, as long as I can. For those of you that don't want any spoilers, I will say this about the movie. I liked it. I liked it a lot. The pacing is a little slow, but it's a slow burning detective story, and it starts off pretty funny, but boy, does it take a twist. Does it take a turn? And the movie reminds you why it's rated R. And it's not just for zany comedy, at least near the end of the movie. I can't recommend it to everybody. Some people are going to hate this movie. I don't know why, but it really resonated with me. I even dug the ending, which in some ways is kind of confusing and vague. But anyway, I can't recommend it to everybody, but if you like some movies that can take some weird twists and turns, uh, you might dig this one. If you like detective stories that can take weird turns, you might dig this one. Um, would I recommend running out to the theaters to see it? No, you don't really have to. It's definitely well worth a rental for me. But man, this movie, let's just say it took me by surprise. So let's talk about The Kid Detective. This movie starts off with Abe Applebaum. We the adult version's played by Adam Brody, but we start off with him as a kid, and he is solving mysteries throughout the town. It feels like a Hardy Boys or something like that, or a Nancy Drew, where you've got this smart kid that is solving the small town's problems, and whether it be missing money or a lost cat or who vandalized the local store or whatever, right? It's all small things, but we then learn that, and this is going to sound kind of funny, the kid's secretary, uh, he gets an office. Let's just say that. He gets an office when he's a kid. Again, it's set up like a silly Scooby-Doo mystery kind of thing, right? Um, his secretary, who is the mayor's daughter, she goes missing, and uh, Abe Applebaum cannot find her. It's like the one mystery he can't solve. Whereas normally the police would work with him and to help solve these little crimes and little things that were going on in the town, nobody really approached him about this, and it's always bothered him. And so we see him now in his 30s. He's still trying to be a detective. He still has his office, and he's trying to basically stay afloat in life. He gets drunk every night. Half the time, he gets beat up every night. He gets beat up by one of the people that that he accused of doing one of the crimes. It was the stolen money, and this guy still lives in the town, and he meets him behind the bar and beats the crap out of him every now and then. So again, it kind of has this silly feel, but you could tell that, and I was hoping the movie was going to go this way. You could tell that there was this darker edge to it, and boy, were my feelings correct. See, it starts off with a boy goes missing, and his girlfriend goes to visit our adult Abe Applebaum, who is still solving little crimes around the city, whether it be the mayor's wife's cat, finding the cat or whatever. It's just all these small town things. Well, she approaches Abe Applebaum to find this missing kid, her boyfriend. And so the reason she approaches him is it's not like she knows he's this local legend or anything. She just approaches him because the police, she don't feel are paying attention to the right things. She doesn't feel like they're looking in all the right places, and she wants another set of eyes to look into this crime or possible crime. And so Abe takes the case. He doesn't take her money, and they don't really explain why, even though you kind of figure out why. And it's because he's just trying to solve something big. He's making up for something. I can't really say what it is because it's a big plot point. He's making up for something. And so you have Abe and this girl going around. She's leading him to different places this boy would go, and that leads them to clues here and there, and to talk to different people in the town. And the movie has kind of this, it's not like slapstick zany, but it has this like zany feel to it. I don't know if a lot of people will remember the movie Who's Harry Crumb, where it's John Candy, and he's playing an eccentric detective that takes the sister of a missing girl under his wing, and they become like partners to find the sister. That's what this movie kind of felt like to me, which is probably why I liked it, because I love Who's Harry Crumb. It's a movie I do want to talk about on this channel sometime. But you have this odd team up, and they're going from place to place. And it's kind of zany at first, but here and there, little bits and pieces of darkness kind of come into the story, and that's where I don't want to talk about things, because I think it'll ruin the experience of this movie if you talk about how dark this movie can get. Now, I'm not gonna say it turns into like a zombie movie or something weird like that. No, it is definitely a detective movie, but I really, really dug where this movie went. I can't really talk about much more without spoiling things. And again, I want to recommend it to everybody, but I know some people will be like, "Why did you recommend this to me?" And you know what? If you said that to me on my recommendation, I would get it if you didn't like this movie. But man, I dug this movie. And now I want to talk about some of the things that happen in this movie, some of the dark turns. I won't give away everything, but I do want to talk about some things, and I got to talk about the ending. So we're getting into spoiler territory here. As we go through the movie, you start to realize that this kid, this boy that has gone missing, he's probably dead. And you also start to figure out that this case may have something to do with Abe Applebaum's past. And as he starts to figure things out and figure out that maybe he wasn't as smart as he thought he was as a kid, maybe he really needed to really look into things before just making quick assumptions. See, they would show him watching movies with his parents, like detective movies and stuff, and he'd be like, "Oh, the butler did it," right? And he'd be right. So he was predicting stuff like that, but when he was doing cases as a kid, a lot of times he would come up with a solution really quick, and it comes to find out that he may have been wrong about some of them, and this could have led to dire consequences. And he has to come to terms with that in this movie, where he starts to realize that he may have been wrong about some things, and he has to revisit some things. And this leads him down a somewhat dark ending, a path to a dark ending. And again, I don't want to talk about really that. I'm not going to spoil that for you. But I am going to talk about the ending of the movie, because the ending of the movie might make some people mad. And it took me just a second. I'm like, no, this is perfect. This is a perfect ending. See, this movie kind of plays itself at first, again, like it's a fun, silly comedy about, again, an aging detective that used to be a kid detective, and he hasn't really grown up, right? But you see, this character has more to him than that. This character has a lot of hurt in him because of the thing that happened when he was a kid, his secretary going missing and it never being solved. And at the end of the movie, things are going, let's just say at the end of the movie, things are going good for him. Business is up. People are looking up to him again. The town doesn't seem to hate him, because things go well for him career-wise, at the end of this movie. But here's the thing. This movie, if it would have had a happy ending, I would have been pissed. Because a movie like this, it gets real quick. The consequences at the end of the movie, the way the characters feel at the end of the movie, the way some of the characters react at the end of this movie are not a Hollywood happy ending. And I am all for not having a Hollywood happy ending in a movie like this. His character at the end of this movie reacts way differently than you think he will. And then the movie just ends. But for me, I'm just like, it was perfect. I loved what they did. It's funny, the music at the credits makes it seem like this movie had a happy Hollywood ending. But what was happening on screen did not. Because again, the things that happen in this movie, if you're happy at the end of this movie, it's not right. It wouldn't feel right. If things felt, see, the small town is reacting like you would expect a small town in one of those kids detective stories, a Scooby-Doo or a Nancy Drew or Hardy Boys or something like that. They are reacting like you think they would. But the main characters of the movie, they are not. And they are reacting the way you would think someone in this situation for real would react. And I think that's why I really like this movie. And I'm not going to say it was my favorite of this year yet, because I will say this. The pacing, though I enjoy the slow burn, at times it was a little slow. That being said, it's one of those that I want to look at again, because not knowing what I was walking into going into this one, it really, when things start to happen, when the things start to turn, is really when the stuff that happened before really helped it helped everything come together. And I want to see it again to see how that slow burn feels when I know what's coming. Because it felt a little slow getting to that point. But having seen it now, and again, not knowing what I was getting into, that slow burn into the dark turn, I'm not trying to be a poet there, it really made the movie work for me. And especially, again, the ending is weird, but it works. It makes so much sense, because, again, if this movie had a happy ending, I know I would have hated it. The ending and a couple of the last scenes, they really cemented my liking this movie. Because if our two main characters would have if they would have went along with the tone of the town, if things would have been right for them, had been happy for them, the way this town is now that everything's back to normal in this small town, after you've taken off the mask and Old Man Smithers, the amusement park, and no, that's not the villain, but I'm making a Scooby-Doo reference. But if the villains stopped and the crime is solved and everything's back to normal here in small town USA, no. Our main characters, they're changed. They're changed forever, and the movie shows that. And I think that's really why I liked it, because it gave our main characters some reality versus this this I don't want to call it fake, but this imaginary happiness that this town has. And the fact that they are damaged at the end of this movie really made this movie work for me, and really made those characters work for me. So yeah, I really dug this movie, and I can't recommend it for everybody, but man, I know there's some people out there that watch my stuff that would probably really dig this movie. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel, like this video, and if you've seen this movie, if you have anything to say about the Kid Detective, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I am your host, the Real Gino Reynolds. See you later.